If you are not happy with the life that you live now, go in a different direction. Do this as many times as necessary until you get to a life that you are actually happy with. In this video, I will give you 6 things that I stopped doing that led me to live a happier life. And the first one, I stopped telling myself I had a specific time in which I was going to start my self-care journey. First and foremost, you don't have to tell yourself you're going to wait till the weekend. You're going to wait till Monday. You're going to wait till the beginning of the month. If you want to know if you're serious about it, give yourself steps to do today. There's no reason why you're telling yourself, oh, I'm going to start my gym membership this following weekend. No, you better go on YouTube, search up a 10-minute workout video and do it inside of your room. There's no reason why you're convincing yourself, oh yeah, I'm about to get really serious about my skincare and start drinking water. Girl, you already got the hyaluronic acid, you got the discoloration serum, you got all that stuff that you saw on TikTok inside of your bathroom already, but you're telling me that you need to have everything together to start. That's you subconsciously telling yourself you're not ready to start. And if you're not ready, it's not going to be a specific day until you're ready. It's going to have to be a specific action until you feel like you're ready. But I had to realize that was one of the things that was holding me back from being happy, because first and foremost, like I said, it told my inner self that I don't think that I'm ready. And then a lot of times also what happened is something always came up. There was some kind of excuse. There was a birthday. There was a holiday. There was something that always came up for some reason why I either couldn't stay consistent or I couldn't do the thing that I said I was actually going to do. So I want you to be honest with yourself and give yourself action steps that you're going to do today. And if there's nothing that you think you can do today, then you're not ready. Like, you just have to be honest with yourself. Am I ready to change my life? Or do I just want to keep watching a whole bunch of videos explaining to me how to change my life, but I'm not going to actually do it? Number 2, explaining to people why you don't want to do something anymore. One thing I've noticed about my self-growth journey there are things that I've done in the past, or I might have done more in the past, that I no longer want to do anymore, or I don't want to do as frequently, such as going out and, you know, stuff like that. And I am just in an awkward space right now because people know you as being one kind of person. People know you as doing certain things, and then when you don't want to do certain things anymore, people are like, why? And you often feel like you have to come up with an excuse for them. You can't just tell them, I don't want to do that, because it's going to be like, why? Why don't you want to do it? And it becomes a whole conversation. So you try to figure out, how can I convince these individuals why I don't want to do this anymore? And I feel like it's subconsciously us telling to ourselves, how do I prove to them that I'm still the person that I was before, even though I'm trying to change? And I want you to know, you're not going to be able to be 2 people at the same time. And unfortunately, there are certain things that you're not going to be able to do anymore, or not be able to do in the volume or the capacity that you've done anymore. And it's recently happened to me. There's a situation where it was actually like last month. I think it was like the tank fight. I forgot who he was fighting, but Gervonta Davis, he was fighting somebody, and you know, my friends came over to our place, and you know, we're watching the fight, and my friends were like, oh, did I take a shot, like drink? And I'm like, nah, I worked out today, like I don't want to drink. And my friends are like, oh, this, like whatever drink it was, they're like, this doesn't have a whole bunch of calories in it, like you're gonna be fine. My whole thing is, I'm not drinking just because of calories. I'm also drinking because alcohol messes up your muscle recovery. Alcohol messes up your ability to really produce muscle. And it's like, I done worked out all day, and it's like I'm about to drink. What was the point of me working out? That's just how I feel. And I kind of want to cut down my drinking in general as well, because I just feel like it's not something that I want to do as often as I did before, just because it's just not that healthy for you. And so I found myself explaining to one of our friends. He was like, oh, why are you not drinking? Da, da, da. And I'm like, oh, well, you know, because you know, alcohol messes up your digestion and your ability. And I just felt so dumb when I was saying it, because I knew why I didn't want to drink, but like, I didn't really know all the scientific stuff. Like, it's bad for you. You ain't supposed to do it when you're working out. Like, I didn't know what to say. And then he just kind of was like, okay. Because like what I was saying didn't make sense, but it didn't make sense for the simple fact that I felt like I had to keep explaining myself to people. And I want you to realize you need to just be gonna type timer like, I just don't want to. Why? I just don't feel like it. I just don't want to. Like, don't explain yourself to people, because you already know why you don't want to do something. You already know why. You get what I'm saying? You don't want that. And you don't have to explain to people because you already explained to yourself. That's how you came to that conclusion. You didn't just wake up one day and was like, oh, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to do that no more. No, it probably took multiple times you telling yourself you weren't going to do that thing and you ended up doing it. It probably took multiple times of you convincing yourself why you shouldn't do it, knowing why you shouldn't do it. But you're the only one that knows that. You're the only one that knows what happens behind the scenes inside of your brain. Your friends only know what you show and tell them. So for them, they may think, oh, she just started to act like this. Whole time you've been thinking about this for weeks, for months. For some people, possibly even years, it took you time to work up to finally say no to the person that you were before. And so people are going to have questions. That's normal. But I'm just at a point now where I'm just like, I don't want to. And you just got to stand on that. Like, I don't want to. People are like, why? I just don't feel like it. I just don't want to. And it's that. Like, stop. I'm telling you, you waste so much time trying to explain to people why you do what you do, because another thing that annoys you, they will never understand. Because you got to think about it. If they understood, they probably wouldn't really do it either. You get what I'm saying? Like, if they understood, they probably wouldn't even ask you. They'd probably just be like, okay, I get it. But those people that keep prying and keep asking and they don't understand. So no matter what you tell them, they're not going to get it, and that's okay. I don't want to do that, and that's cool. But I definitely had to learn that one. Number 3. Not spending more money because I make more money. This is something that I learned almost a year ago, and I tell you, it makes you a lot happier about yourself. Once you get to a certain point in life and you start moving up and you start making more money, it's so easy to feel like you have to fit in. You have to get a new car, you have to get the new clothes, you have to get the new apartment. And one thing I can say about myself is I had to stop myself, because I realized it never felt like I was making more money. It never felt like I was doing more, because it's like I'm spending the same amount of money that I'm making. So once you start making more, don't feel like you have to upgrade your life yet. Don't feel like you have to start spending more money because, oh, I live here now, or I'm around these people, I'm around that people. Let that be your motivation. Let that be your drive. Let you keep going. But don't feel like, oh, just because I make more, I have to spend more. And I wish that was something that someone would have told me when I was younger, even though I am only 24. So I feel like I'm pretty young. I still get it. But yeah, you don't have to spend more. And I get it. People around you are going to get new cars. People around you are going to get new this and new that. But don't feel like you have to do that just to keep up with them. Because I'm also that person that realized a lot of the people that had a lot of the stuff that I wanted, I thought at one particular time, were struggling. Like, yeah, these people got new cars, or these people got new this and new that. But it's like, they can't even pay for half this stuff, or they can't even afford half the bills that I pay for. They can't, like, it's just certain things that it's like, it won't make sense for everybody. And so if you keep looking at other people like, oh, well, they got this new and they got this new and I need this new, you will get yourself really messed up. So that's one thing I definitely had to come to terms with. Like, just because I make more money does not mean I have to spend more money, because it also doesn't feel like you make more anyway, because you spending the same, if not more. Number 4. Rewarding myself intentionally. I have learned that I would only reward myself when I was doing something good. And so I made myself feel like I was only worthy of love. I was only worthy of care when I was doing something good. And we're kind of taught that as kids, right? You get a reward once you complete something. You get a reward once you finish something. And once we kind of develop that for ourselves, it makes us feel down sometimes about our day to day or week to week, and sometimes even month to month, because it's like, what do you really achieve on a consistent basis? Most people don't, and that's perfectly fine. So one thing I've started to do is intentionally reward myself for just being myself. Every Friday, I spend money. And when I say I spend money, it could be me buying a pair of jeans. It could be me buying a latte. It could be me, like, whatever it may be. That's just what I want to do. I do things that are intentionally for me, rewarding myself, or just going somewhere that might be a little bit far of a drive that I usually wouldn't go. But just doing something that it's like, this is my end of the week reward. You made it to the end of the week. You did it. Here you are. And because I want myself to understand, you still deserve love. You still deserve care. You still deserve to have a happy life just because you haven't achieved something yet. You're going after your dreams, your goals, your aspirations. Or right now, some people may be exhausted. You've achieved a dream, you've achieved a goal, and you just need time to just cool down. But I don't want a lot of people to have that perception that they can only love themselves and care about themselves when they are going after something, or when they finally achieve something. Like, no, every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday, whichever day you want to have out of the week, intentionally reward yourself just for making it through the week. And like I said, it could be you spending $5 on a latte. It could be you spending $30 on a pair of jeans. It could be you taking a long ride and nowadays spending $30 on some gas. Like, it's just you doing things that it's just like, this is for you. And intentionally doing it, not just being on some, oh yeah, well I did get a drink, a latte, you know, when I went to the coffee shop last week. No, it just so happened that you was in the area, you got that. Do things intentionally. You're like, I'm doing this for me. Number 5, cutting people off and not making a big deal about it, doing it quietly. One thing I've realized is I felt like I always had to explain myself to people. I'm still getting through that, if you want me to be honest with you. But it made me a lot happier when I realized that people weren't treating me the way I wanted to be treated, or people just weren't doing things that I wanted to be around, or whatever the case may be, whatever point I was in my life. And I slowly got myself out of the picture. It doesn't have to be something where you're like, oh, you did this to me, you did that to me, argue it back and forth. It doesn't have to be something where you let them know, oh, we ain't talking no more. No, for a few people, it's just been on a type of time where I just don't talk to them how I used to no more. I don't really talk to them at all. And I am so much happier with that, because I know, just knowing how I am, if it would have been a big thing of me cutting them off, I probably would have dwelled on it a little bit, or probably would have been a situation, or probably would have been with this. I think I like it because it still gives me the opportunity one day to possibly rekindle things the way they were before, or things could just dissipate how they were. But for me, it never creates this rift of it being like a beef, or really being a problem, or really being, you know what I'm saying, on that type of timing. But yeah, just slowly getting people out of your life, just doing on some type of timing. Hey, I'm busy right now, or hey this, or hey that, and not doing it intentionally. Now, another thing too, I'm not saying just because, you know, people do things, you should just cut them off and not say something. I also am an advocate of saying things, but for me particularly, I'm just in a point in my life where like, I'm on this whole self-growth journey. I'm trying to find myself. I'm trying to find my bank account. I'm trying to find so much stuff. And there are just certain people that just, unfortunately, they don't have a benefit to my life, who I am now, like they did before. And the person I was before, I would say more of a benefit, but it's not really a benefit anymore. Like the conversations I used to have with some people, I don't want to have those conversations now. The stuff I used to do with some people, I don't really want to do those stuff. And it's not saying I never want to talk to them again, or I never want to hang out with them, or never, but it's just like right now, I just don't, that's just not what I want to be. That's just not what I want to do. And so I'm just gonna do it quietly. And I feel like, I don't know, personally, I feel like that made me a lot happier. It made things a lot better, because it's not an argument. It's not a going back and forth. And it's just like, it's just sometimes what happens when you become an adult, you drift away from people. But I feel like the childish way of me wants to say something and be like, oh, well, you did this, or this situation happened, or I don't want to talk to you, or I don't want to. It's like, no, like, it's just not that right now. And the final one is removing individuals from my life that do not treat themselves good. I feel like when you don't treat yourself well, when you don't respect yourself, when you don't care for yourself, it's so easy to hang around people that do the same thing. And once you get to a point of respecting yourself and caring for yourself and understanding your worth and different things like that, certain conversations you used to have with people, certain things you used to do with people, you no longer want to. And you start looking at them differently, because you've kind of accumulated a certain level of self-worth that now it kind of makes you question the self-worth that they have for themselves. And it's not saying that you think you're better than anybody. I don't want anybody to think like, oh, I think I'm better, and I think I'm this, I think I'm that. I think I'm different, but I always feel like I'm different than anybody. I feel like you should too. But at the same time, I've realized people who don't have self-worth, people who don't respect themselves, people who don't, in the beginning, it's easy, especially if it's like a long-term person that's been in your life for a long time. It's easy to just be like, oh, well, that's just them. Oh, that's just my girl. Oh, she just cool. That's cool. You know, let the person vent to you, da-da-da-da-da. But then you have to realize, first and foremost, that will take a toll on you, because you're trying to level up your life. You're trying to do stuff new. And this person just keeps venting about things, and you like, are you going to get through it? I'm one of them people. Maybe that's just me. Are you going to get through it or you're not? Like, I'm also one of them people, I don't want to keep hearing about the same situation. I don't think that's cute. I don't think that's just me. I don't think like, I don't know, like when people be talking about the same stuff over and over and want to just talk about it and dwell on it, I'm one of the people like, what are we going to do to get over this thing? Are we going to keep talking about it, or are we going to, you know, get things started? And also I realized sometimes people treat you bad because they treat themselves bad and they don't even realize it. And I've had that happen to me before, where I felt like people kind of disrespected me in a way, or just did things that I didn't agree with, or it rubbed me the wrong way. But then I had to take myself out of the situation and be like, this person wasn't even trying to be malicious. This person wasn't even trying to be mean. This person literally treats themselves like this. And that was when I was like, you know what? Individuals who don't treat themselves well, individuals who don't respect themselves, I'm sorry, I can't have you in my life. Like, you could be a nice person. You could be a caring person. I think sometimes that's what messed it up too. No, they could still be nice people. They could still be caring people. But you have to pay attention to how they treat themselves. If they treat themselves bad, eventually they're going to treat you bad. And it's not even going to be on purpose though. And the caveat to this is, I'm not saying to cut off friends because they're going through something. No, I'm not saying to cut off people because of one thing they particularly did. It goes with the last thing I said. Slowly just separating yourself for individuals and just categorizing people. Hey, this friend is a go out friend. Hey, this is a friend I could talk to, or whatever. But like those people that you know treat themselves bad, the people who know every time they call your phone, oh, well, this happened, that happened. I'm on time. Oh dang, I'm busy right now. Oh dang, I don't have that to do. And maybe that does sound rude, and maybe that does sound inconsiderate, but I wouldn't want anybody to feel like that about me. Like, I feel like it's certain people that call your phone and you just know they on some BS. It's certain people that every time you talk to, it's a problem. It's a this, it's a that. And it's like, why are you like, what? Like, why are you even letting this happen? Why are you always going through something? Why are you always, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but that's also something I had to do to help me be happier. It's like, I want to be surrounded by people that at least want happiness. Like, I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm not saying that I wake up every morning and it's like, good morning, America. No. But I try to, you get what I'm saying? Look at the brighter side of things. I try to be happy. I try. Like, that's all I can ask from anybody, but is to try. But for those people that always wake up on the wrong side of the bed and always this and always that, it's just like, I ain't got that to do. I'm sorry, I really ain't got that to do. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. Comment below if you found anything interesting about this video, or you feel like you can use any of these tips. These are things that I've been working on, some of them more so recently, some of them for approximately a year. But I don't know, I just feel like these things make me happier. And I'm a big advocate, like I said in my first video, which you guys also should check out, the 6 tips that I gave for happiness. If you do not separate yourself from what is making you unhappy, you will never find happiness. So like, you have to separate yourself from the things that are taking your joy, taking your happiness. And unfortunately, sometimes that's people. And it was people sometimes that once gave you joy and once gave you happiness. But it's like, I'm just not that person no more that I used to be. And that's okay. Like, don't also get mad at yourself because you're not that person. Understand that you had to grow and you had to change to get to where you want to be in life. So thank y'all for watching. As I said before, 72% of y'all are not subscribed to my channel. I know sometimes it's easy to just watch the content and just go to a different video, but if you enjoy my content, if you feel like you get anything useful from my content, please hit that subscribe button. Thank y'all and have a great one.